In this video, we talk to you about training, DOMs, eating breakfast, and why you're still not getting results. Yo guys, it's Larry here from Unit 13, and this is another installment of our 3 Tip Friday series, our continuation from our email series. We're talking to you today about 3 main points. Firstly, why you're always sore after training. Secondly, breakfast, why you're starving come 10 a.m. And thirdly, why it's been 6 weeks and you still might not have gotten your results that you desired or that the advertisement promised. So the first thing is let's dive into step 1. So our point 1 is I'm always sore after training. And what is that? It's called DOMS. So basically it's delayed onset of muscle soreness. However, and this is key, and this one thing that really riles me up, is that any old coach can make you sore. If you're waking up crippled after every single session, that's poor coaching. That essentially is the coach not meeting you at where you are and where you need to be right now in order to be better tomorrow. Pummeling your body all the time and constantly doing leg day, upper body day, and focusing on this one main muscle group when you haven't been training in a certain length of time or you're deconditioned is just not wise. Doing HIIT sessions all the time when you don't have that basic aerobic system to be able to recover in time for your next session. Eating patterns, stress levels, kids, all these different things. These are the things that really matter when it comes to your training and exercise. It's not something that can be just jump into the gym and jump into any old class, because eventually at some stage your recovery and everything else pays a huge effect on your ability to be able to get results. It's like trying to learn maths. Stage 1 is learning your times tables or even plus and minus before that, and then you move on to times tables, then algebra, and after that I'm not too sure because I didn't get too far in terms of algebra and maths. But you get what I mean, is that you're trying to build a story here, you're trying to build a journey, and I'm trying to put a time cap on this because I can go on and on and on, is that waking up sore after every single session is not right. Like a little bit sore knowing that you've done something, that's just fine. But you should be adapting to your program and getting stronger and making progress and putting on that little bit more lean muscle mass to burn that fat. We do 4 different levels of programming, and we include different levels if needed, meaning that if we have 4 different levels of 4 different typical types of client, those who, for example, can't get up off the ground, who are struggling with their strength levels because they've spent years and years bringing up a family, they've years creating a business, they've neglected their health. We need to meet them at that point with doing things like box step-ups instead of barbell back squats, which is just plain stupid, and then moving them on to maybe doing some double leg squats like a brace squat or a goblet squat, then moving them on to doing some hinging patterns with Romanian deadlifts with a light barbell, developing the lat strength to be able to do any kind of bending work, then to moving on to maybe then doing back squats. But that's not where you just need to be met at where you are. You don't need to be thrown into the barbell, don't need to be thrown into the mad old HIIT class. You just need coaching. And I'm going to stop there. And just make sure you're getting enough sleep as well on that, and just the basics. Just tick the basics off. We don't even need to go into that. Make sure you're sleeping 8 hours a night, 1 litre of water per 25 kg body weight, and eating a recovery meal and not starving yourself and doing some ridiculous nutrition plan that has you starving all the time. Point 2 is moving on to I'm starving come 10 a.m. What do I do? If you're starving come 10 a.m. after your breakfast, you've more than likely not had what your body has needed that time in the morning to fuel yourself. Yes, you need snacks and stuff in between, but lunchtime is still a bit away if we take someone who's typically working in an office. So, meaning first thing in the morning, usually what we try and advise and push clients towards is firstly having a breakfast, is having something in the morning. Not something that's sugary and a cereal that's from a packet. The best thing that you can get from a packet, maybe the only thing that we would say to get from a packet, is something like porridge oats or something. And even at that, we try and steer clients away from porridge oats. Maybe overnight oats are very handy if you have kids running around. Go for porridge oats and just get something in the end. Something like overnight oats are really helpful. But try and push towards having that protein-based breakfast of maybe something like a 3-egg omelette. We usually try and push people over to 3 or 4 eggs or maybe an egg white instead, because we want that full feeling. We want to make sure that you're starting your day with a good hit of protein, get those amino acids into your muscles and get recovered after your session the night before, and just get yourself ready for the day. But make sure that you're having some fats with that. If you're having a meat and nuts breakfast or something, or some greens as well, try and have some kind of approach with some meat, nuts and greens. Is really a good one to go for if fat loss is your goal. And make sure you're having a decent portion of that. Sounds really weird, so maybe start off with your omelette with some wilted spinach, squeeze a lemon juice, throw a little bit of garlic clove in the pan, take the garlic clove out so you don't burn it, give it a little bit of flavour. If you want some more advice on that and some links, just comment below and then I'll give you some links and some recipes and stuff you can use with that. But make sure you're having a breakfast that's usually protein based, and make sure you're having enough, and make sure you're eating the right things. You should know what the right things are now. That's the point in that. And also make sure you're hydrated enough and not masking your hunger levels first thing in the morning with coffee. Don't be doing that. Have your hot water and lemon juice first thing in the morning unless you're going training. Point number 3 is I've been training for 6 weeks now and still no change. What do I do? What have I been doing wrong? Is there something wrong with me? It's not all about training first thing. There's 2 different types of people in the gym. There's usually those who push really hard, too hard, overly eager at the start, type of new clients, and those who've never really learned how to push. We're usually going to take this as you have accountability and the coach is pushing you hard. So for that reason, if you're going to the gym 3 times a week and you're doing, say, 2 cardio sessions on the side as well, you're eating really well, you're doing this, you're doing that, and 6 weeks you haven't lost the weight that you wanted, is firstly stop and consider if it's weight loss or fat loss that you're looking to do. Losing it all in 6 weeks, comparing it to the amount of time that it took you to put on, firstly consider that. You need to consider lifestyle, you need to consider stress levels, sleep management, and coming back to stress levels as well. Some people say, I'm not a stress kind of individual. Yeah, but like really got to ask yourself, like, are you fully conscious of when you're choosing meals? Are you doing the right thing? Are you being OCD about it? Are you counting every calorie under the sun? Or are you ruining it at the weekend? When it comes to this, is that it's 6 weeks. Yes, you're getting ready for holidays, but why not do a little and do it often throughout the year? So come 6 weeks, you got the majority of the work done, and that when 6 weeks comes towards holidays, you can just aim for, like we have a calendar here that's behind the camera, of aim for an event that you're going to train for every year. The women's mini marathon is just gone. That'd be a perfect one. Tough Mudder or something, and try and beat your time from the year before. And then that way you can actually stop focusing on your body image and self-image and focus on something that you want to achieve. And with that, eat right. And then magically what happens is that like the weight starts falling off with correct coaching and guidance. But don't give up. Make sure you're communicating with your coach, and sometimes it takes the coach a while to understand how your body works. As much as you struggled with to know how your own body works, the coach needs to know how your body works too. So consider that. A lot of tips there. There's not so much you can dive into, but just consider that, like, are you doing a one-size-fits-all model, or is the stuff being individualized for you, and are you communicating enough? So usually just go straight to your coach and ask your coach the questions. Don't go in a panic. Make sure you have some detail written down on things you've been doing, tracking the last 6 weeks of progress, because if the coach doesn't have any detail on what you have been doing, they won't be able to help, really. And just start communicating. The biggest thing and biggest fault we see with clients is those who don't communicate, get frustrated, and they tell you it's fine. How are you today? I'm fine. How's last week's training been? It's fine. It's never fine. You need more detail than that. So number 1 takeaway point from that is make sure that you communicate enough. And that's it. So that's our 3-tip Friday installment for today. If you want a little bit more, make sure that you get onto the email list so you can get a little bit more information. And if you want a little bit more information on what we do here, by all means, you can ask in the email too. But let's stick with our 3-tip Friday: exercise, nutrition, motives. Make sure keep on training, and we might get a little bit more detailed and in depth of this and keep it to around the 10-minute mark. Hopefully push it on a little bit as long as there's interest towards the end of that video. And make sure keep on sending your questions in.